An hour ago.
We might be.
I would think she wouldn't breathe if she wasn't.
No, no, oh, that's terrible. I just got music.
No, I always remember the church comment. We hadn't been here very long.
Uh-oh, what did I say?
That's gonna be good.
Something about we need to come get Josie over here or something at church or something. I forget what you said. It was hilarious. It was like, oh, we don't do the church thing.
Oh, I was like,
Sure you
I was like,
did.
'cause you have, you teach Sunday school. Yeah, I was like,
We didn't know, you know, at the time. It was like,
That's
I was
your
like, oh, I doubt it. I was like, if she would, she wouldn't have said that.
I know the one day he said something about, they were going to say, we might have a margarita or something, it was something, and I said, oh, she's like, what? It's like, I'm totally no, we're supposed to actually go tomorrow morning to, well, to Ormsby.
Hot rods and Paul this morning.
We're taking a car down there to
Your
be
car.
touched up, my car.
Should
So
be
we're
fine
like,
for me. Should be
yeah,
fine.
I think so. So we're like, well, we'll be down there, it's like an hour from the beach, so might as well hang out for like 2 days. Maybe in the hotel room, we just sit there.
Don't see anybody else pulling in. Y'all ready to get started here? Stand up, please, the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see here, Alderman Lawrence, Alderman Hill are both absent. Alderman Williams?
Here.
Alderman Morton?
Here.
Alderman Joyce?
Here.
Alderman Falconberry is absent right now.
Tardy.
Tardy. Approval of the agenda.
Is anything gonna be pulled from the agenda?
I will recommend when we get to it on the sign ordinance, because what we've got, I think, is incomplete. Todd and I were talking about that today, that it's not going to hurt anything for that to be next month.
Well, should we pull it before we approve the agenda? What's the proper procedure?
I think that makes sense.
You move to approve it. I'll second it.
I move to approve it with that change.
Okay. All right, so communication from the mayor, can I move it to last thing for tonight?
Then I move to approve that agenda.
I wish you would.
So if you're not even on it, yeah, okay.
Can we get a vote on this? On approve the minutes then? Agenda?
I move to approve.
I second it.
All approve, all oppose? Anybody oppose of it? So said. Approval of minutes. Anybody got anything on them from last month?
No. I move to approve. I was just gonna say, I watched the last month on YouTube, and I sure pick up my pencil a lot, and so I'm gonna have to try and stay very still. That's what just went through my mind. So I moved to approve the minutes.
I need to watch it. I second.
Got a first and a second. Anybody oppose? I'll say yay.
Yay.
Yay. Public hearing. This would be the public hearing for all the second readings of the ordinances that we've got coming up on the overlays. Okay. Any citizen input we got coming up? Besides, we know what, from here, whatever. Anybody got any gripes or anything? All right, report CT0253. These are requirements by the comptroller's office. This first one is the SRF loan on the big sewer project. And it just states how much money we're doing, what type of debt issuance it is, the interest rate. And just, it's like I say, it's a requirement just to let the board and everybody know that we are issuing that amount of debt. And that's already been approved. There's nothing, no action to take. That's just a something that we're required to make note of at the meeting.
What about the Caterpillar lease?
That, because it's a lease, is also considered a debt issuance, and it's just the same thing. It's already been approved. It's just needs to be logged in the minutes to say that we've talked about it in a meeting, talks about what kind of debt it is. I do think there's one error on this one. It is the security is revenue. It's not general obligation because it is a utilities debt. So I would note that needs to be corrected. And then on my report, if there's any questions, I'll be glad to take them. And then on the financial report that was given to you, I'll be glad to take any questions on that as well.
Are we going to schedule a time for your open discussion? Toward the bottom of the page, you said you spoke to Todd about having an open discussion concerning property rights, blah, blah.
We can, yes. I'd love to, just schedule whether we need to have a town hall meeting or whatever we want to do, just to, talk about property rights and, some of these things that get talked about a lot with the development and the growth, and make sure everybody, understands what the law is and what we as the town can and can't do in certain situations. So I'd love to schedule that and, do a little bit of educating on that subject.
Well, can we schedule it?
Yes, and I think last time we were supposed to be working on priorities when we had that last meeting, and I don't know, it just sort of developed into something without reaching priorities. I learned that from looking at the YouTube.
See, I did watch that. What's the best night of the week? Tuesday? I know Wednesday's not good, Monday's not good. Am I correct?
Whatever night y'all want to do, I'm making your feel.
I don't have any preference.
Do a Sunday night, feel free.
Saturday night, really.
Wednesday and Thursday is the best nights for me.
Well, don't some people at church on Wednesday? I don't.
What's Sunday? Some Thursday. Any Thursday then?
Let's
Good
do it
job.
on Thursday. How's that?
You want to try the 18th?
That works for me.
I'm gonna be out of town
Oh.
next week.
That doesn't work.
I'll be back the 25th.
25th?
25th, okay, yeah?
6 o'clock.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about that.
And I'll be in touch with y'all concerning, if we want to make it more of a board type meeting or a town hall type meeting. I'll send out some kind of communication on that.
And we're still on reports, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I see that we have minutes and things in here, so it's sort of reports. And we were going to have reports from.
Yeah, thanks for the planning commission.
We've got planning commission. We don't have water and utilities, and we've got reports from police and fire. What we've got from fire. I don't think we do from,
I talked to Chad about getting a report, and he'll have your report next month
that sounds good.
What's that
Police.
from?
for codes.
Codes.
And police, is it
Who usually has it? So no, this not.
just, kind of like the fire department does, how many arrests, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff?
We have it, we just didn't have it ready in time when you put the packets out, because we've been pretty busy, but I have it, and I'll make copies for everybody.
And I like getting the packets early. That was, scared me.
We're also working on getting a chapelhill.gov email set up for the board members, and these requests that come through on the website will start going to those emails. So as these agenda requests come in, y'all will have access to them as they come in.
Well, you need to send me a copy of them.
I'll do it. I'll keep you informed.
Good heart.
Ordinance, old business. Ordinance 2018-09, rezoning 409 North Hart Parkway, second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a first and second. Any discussion?
I do have one question.
All right.
No.
Sure.
Yeah, I found the answer.
You'll call roll, Laura.
I will. Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderman Morton,
Yes.
Alderman Joyce.
Yes.
Do I need to call on the mayor?
No.
Okay.
Ordinance 2018-10, rezoning 132 Depot Street, second reading.
I'll move to approve this time. You're next.
Oh, a second.
Any discussion? Call roll.
Alderman Joyce,
Yes.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderman Morton.
Yes.
Mark, just real quick, all these were recommended by planning commission, were they not?
That is correct.
Okay, just wanted to, I thought that was the case, but just want to make sure.
Ordinance 2018-11, rezone 301 North Horton Parkway, second reading.
Need to move to approve? Yes.
Got one to approve?
That's the one down there that we had discussed at planning commission about the privacy fence and everything. They are aware of all of that. I hope.
Yes, ma'am. We'd had a discussion about does it require it on the side and the back, and I think we decided just the back since the other property is also zone B2. Is that correct, Todd?
Yes, just between the residential use.
Okay. So yes, there will be a buffer that's required on that back line in between the lights on Maple Street and that
But
property.
not the house right there that people live in?
That's correct, because it's zone B2.
Well, now, they made them put the fence up down there, and I was not even involved in that. That was before I was on the city council at the car wash by my mother. That was, it may have changed since then, but there was the privacy, which I didn't care because I didn't want that wooden thing that they've got at the back up. So I just told them, they asked if they could put the,
Chain link.
right, you remember that? Yeah, you remember that one. It was a fun day with my mother, but
I don't remember that one, that one was B2, zone B2, I don't know which house you're talking about, but I wasn't sure if that one was zone B2 at the time or not, or if it was still a residential zone.
well, I would think it would be the same if it's being used as residential. I mean, that's a nice house that's being used as residential right there.
Has anybody talked to the individual that lived in that house? They requested one or anything?
They put one up themselves, didn't they, between the country diner and the,
Yeah, the man that bought it the first time did. And I don't blame him for doing that either.
It is.
Grease off of it.
I do think it would be a reasonable condition of approval to require the buffer on that side, but without that condition, I don't know that the ordinance requires it because of the commercial zoning.
Okay. I guess if we had a motion, or
Second,
I don't think anybody has.
I think, didn't you make a motion?
Do we need to wait on it until this is made?
Does that need to go to planning commission?
It's already planning
Oh,
commission.
planning commission approved it.
They approved it, but I think the planning commission thought that, it was on both sides of that, but that's okay.
Well, can we send it back to the planning commission to get them to clarify?
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know a whole lot more about that kind of stuff than I
Because
do.
again, I think if the board wanted to make that a condition, that additional buffer, you could do that. But
I think it would be nice to know what the people who lived in the residential house wanted,
And Mark, just to make sure we were talking about the same thing, as I understand, there is another residential use on that particular lot, right? On the back side of it?
There is, yes.
Okay. I just
That's
wanted to make
correct.
sure I was understanding that we didn't have a need to have a buffer between the uses on that lot, but I just want to make sure we were talking about the same.
That's correct.
It's going from residential to, because there were two houses that were residential side by side. And then all of a sudden, they're out there by themselves, this one place up here. I don't know.
I think we need to send it back to the planning commission. Let them look at it, or it takes me, or somebody go in there and talk to those people, you want a privacy fence or whatever, because
Well, I think they should be consulted.
I
They
do
may
too.
not want it,
Right.
that's the thing, but I just think it would be nice if they were consulted.
Yeah, looking at this map, there is a requirement here on this property line, and because this is zone B2, no requirement here.
It's a pretty
But-
fancy house.
But this is the one we're,
The question is
Yeah.
right there, because it had been residential, even,
Granny Brothers.
people had been living in that house before it's become this,
I heard that.
so,
I don't think it's gonna hurt anything, any timing of anything to send it back to the planning commission. I don't think there's any hurry on it.
well, I just think it needs, I don't think there's a problem with the planning commission. I'm just speaking for myself. If the people have, have some input into it, that's all I'm saying. I'd kind of like to have input into something if it were my home.
We just had a motion to
We need a
defer
motion
it
to
to the
send it back
next
to the
meeting.
planning commission.
Mhm.
I make a motion to send it back to the planning commission.
I second it.
First and second.
Alderman Morton,
Yes.
Alderman Joyce,
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
21812. Is that same one we done?
That's the one over beside Stony Brook.
Okay.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second. Any discussion? Alderman
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderman Morton,
Yes.
Alderman Joyce.
Yes.
New business, orders 2018-13 parcels. 20M, A10500, 2091, 2513.
That would be those that were annexed last month. This is the first reading. Todd, whatever passes on this first reading Is it allowed to be altered between the first and second reading?
It could be altered, although with it being a specific zoning amendment. And one thing I did notice is I don't think we addressed the underlying base zone for this in the ordinance itself. So that's something we probably need to clarify now or between now and second reading. But to answer your question, I wouldn't change the proposed zoning if we wanted to make a condition or do something else, I think, or one parcel or the other, but I wouldn't change the zoning types between readings.
Yeah. I've done a lot of looking at this. And I don't want to make nobody mad whatsoever. But I think we ought to look at, instead of going to the B, R3 should go be to R1 with a pub put on it. Because if something happens through there, and I know it's going to be 2 or 3, 4 years before they develop that land, probably before they get the water, sewer, and everything in there. A lot of things can happen, and I think if it does, we haven't got a chance or nothing to approve or nothing else if it goes, if it stays like it was when we voted on, when we voted on it.
Will you explain the difference to me?
Yeah. If you have
Well, so we were talking about.
if we go R3,
R3,
okay.
Yeah.
they go in there and do, if say it changes hands through 4, 5, or 10, or some of these others, developers want to go in there and say, I want to buy a lot from you.
Yeah.
They sell him a lot, we cannot do anything about it. What
Okay, so what's the difference
restrictions
between R3 and R1?
R3 is when we, I think now is when we go in there, it opens it all up
To anything?
to whatever. Now
No.
R1,
Anything residential? No.
Right.
Commercial. Okay.
Right.
And
when we go
R1?
R1 with the PUD, we can do that.
We can do
We
what?
can control what goes in there with the PUD on it.
All right. What? So that would be the advantage to changing it to R1.
Right. I mean, they can still do what they want to do out there.
Yeah.
But if they're gonna change anything, it's got to come back to the board first before we approve it. If you don't, you go open it all up to everybody for whatever they want to do.
Well, R3 gives it a 7,500 square foot building lot versus a 10,000. And with the actual cost of development out there and the actual rock and everything that it's going to cost, we're putting it in at our cost. Not the city has nothing to do with any of that. Just everybody's got benefit to reap off it. The smaller lots are what we need to be able to do to make it work. Because with a R1, can't do nothing with it. There's just too much rock out there.
All right.
I mean, we need 7,500 square foot lots. We need the same thing that's right out here, the other subdivision that's going on, which is an R3 out there. So, I mean, they got approved for an R3. I mean, we're not doing anything different than what they'll be doing.
So if we went to the R1 thing, when he actually got ready to build, could he come back and ask for the R3, or is that just silly?
Well, under the mayor's suggestion, he could still ask for a PUD development, bring in a plan that showed a different density more than an R1, and then the planning commission would recommend the board then could approve that plan for more density as a PUD.
Okay.
But unless a PUD was approved, it would still remain the R1 zone, which is the lower density.
I see.
The other big difference between the R3, there's not a huge difference in the lot size, but the R3 does allow for multifamily townhomes and other things that the R1 does not.
So this is above me. Okay, I understand why he says that he prefers that. Why would we prefer the R3? we as the board, I certainly understand why you would prefer it.
Well, I mean, it's just cost. I mean, if we're gonna develop land out there, I need to have a 7,500 square foot lot. Can't do it on a 10,000 square foot lot.
But you could come back and do the PUD, as they said. Does Marion, can you tell me why not to do what the mayor suggested?
The only thing I could think of is probably going for him to find financing, you know, would that impact your financing in any way?
It definitely does, because if you don't have an R3 setup, you can't do, you know, getting financing on something that's, you know, the sky's the limit. A maybe is not something that's even doable for us.
I get you.
To be able to put it in. And I don't mind following what the city says, underground utilities, sidewalks, you know, making a really nice subdivision out of it, but it has to be feasible for us to do that. So to be feasible for us to blast through all that rock and do everything we need to do and build a subdivision like the city wants, I have to have an R3 to do that.
I certainly understand that. And I empathize, been there, done that, and know what you're going through. But frankly, my main concern is the city as opposed to the financing.
And the other
And so
question.
I'm wanting to be convinced, city-wise, that it's best for us to leave it.
How would that impact any townhomes or anything? Because I'm reaching an age where I may want to have to live in a townhome by myself. You know, that's one of those things. How would it impact being able to put townhomes on something? If you,
Yeah, you
or I
can't
didn't
do
even
it.
know if you were going to plan on doing.
Well, I mean, it's going to be pretty much mixed use overlay is what we're gonna do. So there's gonna be a mixed housing. You know, there will be some zero lot line stuff and things like that in there. So, you know, with the R3, I mean, we got to start there before we can even move forward to start bringing plans. And you know, actually on zero lot line, then the PUD will actually come in on top of that too. So it's going to be a combination of R3 and PUD to make this happen.
And what she's asking, I was like, are townhomes in the plan? Things like
Yes,
that.
they are.
So townhomes and things like that is part of our plan, which is another reason why we need the R3.
Just for clarification, you can do anything under that PUD, whether it's R1 or R3. If you came and got the PUD approved, you could do the townhomes, the mixed use, you know, if you had those overlays on there. You wouldn't need the am I correct in saying that, Todd?
Yes.
That the R3 wouldn't be required for you to do all those things. You just need to get that approved as a planned urban development.
Does it become dead land for you without the R3, Jeff? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to have an R3 on it.
I mean, the cost wouldn't be worth developing with an R1. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Well, it kind of leaves us to a point where you know, then we start trying to develop something. With an R3, we know we can move forward with certain houses, 7,500 square foot houses. We got that set. We start spending money and stuff like that. We're still going to come back and ask for a PUD.
Right.
With 10,000 square foot lots, I can't even get started in there because of the cost of the utilities of what it's going to cost to even get that thing up off the ground to put the first house in there. Going to have to put roads, underground utilities, and we all know it's
Water.
solid rock through there. It's not like we got good dirt like their other places are. I mean, down around the corner where these guys are, where the R3, they have decent dirt over there. I mean, back there, solid rock. We're boring underneath the railroad tracks. We're going underneath the railroad tracks. The cost of that alone is astronomical to get underneath the railroad
Oh,
tracks.
we know that.
Yeah, I guarantee it. But it is very, very expensive.
Could I make a motion to postpone this for a month? I don't know enough about it to vote tonight, frankly. So I'll make that motion. You can vote it down if you don't like it.
I'm not opposed to putting it off. I don't know how that would impact you. How does that impact?
I mean, it's just holding up another month. I mean, we're at the architect right now, waiting to see what we're gonna do.
I just feel kind of bad because he's almost, you know, he's
Well, you can't do
going
anything
forward.
right now without it in water anyway. It's not like this is, you're gonna start next month.
I understand that, but you understand the process, what it takes to develop a subdivision?
Yes, it
It's
is.
gonna take us a while.
It's a long time, and with
I
architects
understand
involved and everybody involved, yeah, we don't have water there right now, but we have to start the process. There's a lot to
I
it.
understand that.
Right now, we're just making payments on dead land.
Yeah.
And right now, we're just paying for dead land. So, I mean, a month may not seem like a big deal to some. It's a
Well,
big
it is
deal
when you own the
to us.
property, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll give that.
and we have to build Marion a townhome. So,
That's right. It'd be a nursing
I've
home.
had a thing for a long time.
Conflict of interest.
well, it's gonna take us a while.
But, you know, my only, I said not my only, the concern I have is, you know, we pretty much, we're stringing them along in certain ways.
That's reality.
I guess so.
We were strung along for 4 or 5 years. I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is.
6 months.
And what I want to know is, I'm not opposed to, you know, if you wanted 3,000 square, I love West Haven, but I want to know enough about it on both sides to make an intelligent vote instead of just voting for my convenience or, you know, somebody's convenience. And that was my reason for postponement for months, so I could
I
talk
don't
to
have a
Mark and
problem with it.
I'd love to talk to y'all and get a picture of the whole deal.
But
So,
you can't get a picture of the whole deal until you have a zoning, so you know how you can lay it out.
okay.
And that's cost. That's why we have to do this. You know, I need an answer, because without, I can lay out something that's not in the right zoning. So I mean, we're wasting money.
Okay. Then how about?
Do you want to withdraw your motion?
No, I'd like to vote on it, but
Okay.
if it's voted down, I understand that. But I just felt like a second.
You got to vote. I mean, you made a motion to postpone.
But it has not had a second.
Have a second. Failed on part of the second. Anybody want to make a motion on accepting the R3, or what do you want to do?
I move to accept an R3.
I second it.
And just to clarify, because I'm looking at the ordinance here that provides for a mixed-use overlay, is that what you're requesting, R3 with the mixed-use overlay?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Got a first and a second. Any discussion, any more discussion? Call the roll.
Alderman Weaves,
Yes.
Alderman Morton,
Huh?
Alderman Joyce.
Yes.
Ordinance 201814, signed ordinance. You gonna pass on it or not till you get something back?
Yes, we took that off when we approved the agenda.
You're up.
All right. That's what all I gathered back here. Approved Chapel Hill youth baseball and softball property. Everybody got a copy of this?
I move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
I understand that Todd has reviewed this closely.
I have. And I do think, and I understand the motion in the second. Now, obviously, as we move through the process, this will require additional board approval of the specific plans when they get submitted, but I think the proposal's in order and can move forward.
So just to clarify, like we're able now to start raising money and going to be able to provide, I guess, to give you guys the betterment of your park, correct? To put ball field.
Yeah, as I understand, again, this approval would, the board would approve it, and then you guys would go and start raising money and bring back plans for construction. And of course, I think, from my opinion, the board could look at those plans and accept them or not. But
Sure.
I mean, I think if this passes, it gives you a green light and good faith moving forward.
Just out of technicality, would that be 15 days from now? Or resolutions are in effect immediately?
The resolution, well, and this is being approved by motion, I think would be effective
Oh, okay,
immediately. Yeah,
okay.
this is an ordinance that
Okay. See, I don't understand that.
Okay, so when you were accepting all of this, in here, we have the Chapel Hill Youth Baseball Softball League will accept the approximately $30,000 previously promised to the league by the town administrator at the August meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. The funds were raised specifically for purpose at ball fields at Depot Park. That amount of money was mentioned multiple times, so I just wanted some clarification on that.
I understood that to be
Yeah,
very well stated.
I think we'll have to get back and do some accounting of exactly what that number is, since that was approximate, but I think it's probably, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then the board, I'm assuming, would have to approve that again, is that correct, Todd? Once that amount is figured
yes,
out.
because, and that is when you don't have the authority, so we would want that to be approved. And I was looking back at it now to see the timing. My understanding of that is that it would be after plans were submitted, but I'm trying to find it now while I'm looking at it.
It's under number 6 for one place.
Yeah, there was no timing on our end. I mean, as far as,
Okay.
it was just addressing one of the bullet points in the RFP, as far as requests for assistance.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, as long as, I guess, we have quote unquote a clear time frame to kind of expect that. I mean, if it's once we're able to, if it's when we do get the plans together, because obviously that's been our holdup for months now, and I know we're a good looking group, but I'm sure y'all are tired of seeing us. That's the, we've just been trying to get the okay so we can start, because it's going to cost probably a few $1,000s to get all these plans and surveys and all this stuff, and we can't do it on land that's not ours. So once we get that, you're telling us that's when, at that point, that's when we can expect that approximate number after accounting is done and figured out.
Yeah, that would make the most sense to me. I know it's not specifically spelled out in here, but I would think that the next approval of more specific plans, then the board could authorize that those funds be transferred at that time.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I mean, obviously, that's why we're here, to answer any questions regarding any of this and all of it.
Well, y'all gonna think I'm kind of holding the wall here. Why didn't y'all not go to the county before you come to the city first?
Well, we did. I made several calls to county commissioners, school board members, and tried to get, and pretty much got laughed at. I mean,
And everybody asked us, well, what's wrong with the land that was there for
I'm
the
not
city?
mad.
No, we're just telling you one
understand what I'm
thing.
saying, though.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong.
Everybody just said, well,
But
why can't you do it at the city?
I just don't understand, why they turned you down when they sitting on a pot of land right there behind the grade schools back there.
Yes, sir,
not
we
doing
said the
anything,
same
cut
thing.
hay off of it.
72 acres. Yeah, I've wondered the same thing, and reached out in two different people to try to get something done, and
We were basically told it wasn't even worth
yeah,
going, pursuing it.
by multiple
a complete hard no.
I guess
Unfortunately.
I guess we're more gullible.
we made a bunch. We made a bunch of phone calls. and
No,
done a bunch.
No, I understand.
The land was already there for that purpose. That was,
Right.
and funds were already raised for that, so it just kind of made, I guess, sense to be there, since that's what it was intended for originally.
That's all I got. Have we done voted? Y'all done voted on this? Yeah, we voted on that.
I think we still have to take a,
Roll call the roll in approving this.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderman Morton,
Yes.
Alderman Joyce.
Yes.
Resolution 1832, personnel policy.
Am I correct that the only difference is on the first part is that the last sentence is to be amended?
That's correct.
Okay, and I don't have a problem with that, but what's the reasoning?
Thank you.
The reasoning is, after we came out of that meeting the other day,
Yeah.
it seemed to be kind of a consensus, and I talked to the mayor thought that was
Okay,
appropriate.
so it would only go through you as the city manager, correct?
That's correct.
And we don't have to do,
Well, see, a lot of the city employees don't understand. You know, they think they work for the water and sewer board. If you got a police board, they think they work for the police board. They don't. They work for the town of Chapel Hill, which he is over
the hire
the
and fire, okay.
That's what I was getting at. There was a misunderstanding through some of them there.
And there was a misunderstanding with the water board also.
There was a misunderstanding on this board as well. I
Yeah,
don't know how that happened, but there was a misunderstanding. We were flat out told that we were, basically, it was going, the hiring and firing and the responsibility was going to the water and sewer
Well,
board.
it ain't the way the charters wrote up, I don't think now.
I understand
I think
that
that's
now,
been
but
clarified now.
And I think it should be clarified now that it goes through, they've still got an appeal policy. If something happens, they still got an appeal policy, I think. But the hiring and firing is up this way. I mean, why would he want to come to the board to hire somebody here to mow the grass? Or why would he want to let one of them go that said he caught asleep out there on the tree 4 times? You know, why would they want to come through go through the water and sewer people, the board, to do that?
I thought it was already very clear that the city manager did all the hiring and firing.
I thought it was too, but evidently some of them don't understand that.
Well, I'm all for changing this policy, but changing this policy isn't gonna explain it to them until somebody
Well,
explains it to them.
I'll tell you what, I'll have a meeting with them and I'll explain it
Well,
to them
then,
right
good
quick for you.
idea. Because it's, you know, just because we marked that sentence out
Right,
doesn't mean
Right.
anything.
but hey, you get them all together and I'll tell them. Anytime you want to get one up with all the employees, y'all want to have a staff meeting or something anytime soon, let me know and I'll be here. And I can explain to them right quick. Because it needs to go through us. I mean, we pay this man a lot of money.
Right.
Let him do his job.
But this leaves us out of it,
Right.
which is a good thing, which is the way it should be.
That's what
And
I'm trying to
maybe it was
explain.
that sentence that was confusing,
Right.
that was causing the confusion. Right.
That's the reason I said that first night I was up here. I don't like phone calls in my house.
Yeah.
Somebody complaining
I got
about their
that.
job. Somebody complaining about their job when they got a man right here supposed to listen to them. Explain to him, and he'll explain it to me. And then we make a decision as a board.
Well, the board does not make a decision anymore after this.
Oh, yeah.
No. What?
And what I think what the mayor was referring to, there is still in our charter an appeal
The
process.
appeals
for
process,
this
oh,
one,
yes.
But
The
on the
appeal
front
process.
end, on the hiring
On the
process.
We
But
don't.
other than that, the only thing we'll do is
Right.
hear
If there's
appeals.
appeals,
Should there be?
we'll hear the appeal.
That's it, man.
If we pay him to run the town, let him run the town. That includes, that's like me as a manager. It wouldn't do me any good to let my DM come in and deal with
Well,
that.
exactly. But I'm all for this. I'm completely behind it. But I wonder if there was more mouthing going on about it than actually not thinking that Mark hired and fired.
No,
Does
there's
that
more
make
than
sense?
mouthing.
Is it?
I heard the bragging.
Well, then,
So that's the
This
reason
should
I
fix
brought
it.
that up that night.
there you go.
Or were they ever told that they were not working for?
I have no idea if they
Well-
told or not, but they will be.
Were they ever told?
Yes, they were told that, because I understood when that water and sewer board was being formed, I understood that that's one of the things that they were gonna do, and I misunderstood that as well.
Yeah, and I may not have
So they
communicated
were
that
told
clearly.
that they were not
But-
working for him.
That's just the water and sewer employees,
Somebody
that's
told
not all
He
the,
told them.
that's not all the employees.
Well, then that's the reason they had that.
And again, I may
It
not
wasn't
have
the thing.
communicated
He told
it
us
clearly to Mark when we were, I think maybe we were talking past each other when we created that he thought that that's what the board was doing, and I didn't make it clear that it.
And I know the water and sewer board is is cutting off a lot of red work for him or whatever. I can understand that.
But let's don't blame this misunderstanding
No, I'm not blaming
on
them.
the employee. It
No,
was
no, no,
clearly our fault
Right.
that this misunderstanding happened.
Correct.
So you know, I
understand.
detect a little
I understand.
something in your
And
voice.
no.
We
I
can't put it
understand.
all on the employee.
No, I'm not putting on employees, but if they wanna have a meeting with them, we'll all sit in here and meet with all the city employees. We have to go to the park and do it. I don't care. You know, meet with all of them and explain to them
We can just pretty
one
much,
time, you know, this is it. You know, the water sewer board makes the decisions. I mean, we're making recommendations to us, but we don't have to approve what they make a right.
well, and
to us,
only
like the
mark
planning commission is.
throughout the city, whether we have this water board or not.
Right,
Throughout the city always has and
Right.
always will have the sole authority to
right.
find fire. Okay. And then as far as, is the cell phone part of this?
The cell phone should be on there as well.
Okay. I move to approve.
A second.
You know, for any more discussion? Call the roll.
Alderman Morton,
Yes.
Alderman Joyce,
Yes.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
Surplus fire equipment.
I move to approve.
We got a first. Any discussion? Excuse me, go ahead. Any discussion? I'm sorry, Mayor. Some damn guy.
I've got pictures if anybody wants me to bring them up.
You call the roll.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
Alderman Morton,
Yes.
Alderman Joyce.
Yes.
Other business. Well, I'm not ready to adjourn. On the surplus fire equipment. I was fire chief for 20 years. We got a ladder truck sitting down there that is going to Rex. I don't know how much the fire truck costs, I have no idea. I heard a bunch of thousands of dollars. Most of it's on grants, but they're going to a Rex in a ladder truck. I didn't believe it at first, but I seen it firsthand myself, Thursday. When it Thursday, we had Tommy Howe's house, what day was it?
Friday, Thursday.
Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday, you remember that?
Yeah, the one in between the tree and the house, the wedge in there pretty good. Yes.
Right, and tore his house up. But ladder truck down there comes to a wreck. That don't make sense to me, people.
Is the fire department here?
Matt is on vacation, I believe.
Chad was out in the lobby a couple minutes ago.
But if somebody can ask me why they doing that, I'm all for it. But I just don't understand it. I mean, you know, the car wasn't on top of the house,
That's certainly
and it wasn't on fire, but why is it going on a wreck? I know it's happened more than once, because people told me, I didn't believe them. I said, you gotta be kidding me. But then all of a sudden, I get blammed. I was on the way home, and the wreck happened right in front of me. And then here comes the fire truck.
Well, should that question be directed to the fire
Oh,
department?
yes, ma'am. It's gonna be directed to him. I just want to know how, by him.
Oh.
Well, that's a good question as to what the policies would be for each one, because, I mean, I've been out and I've seen the fire trucks going by, maybe two, and I have no idea where they're going. And then find out that there wasn't a fire, it probably was a wreck. But I don't know, I've never really,
Never thought about it.
I can understand when they might go ahead and extra, get somebody out of the vehicle, getting big bars out and stuff right there, but we got more than one. That big ladder truck don't need that stuff, equipment on it. That's a whole lot of money, people. Sitting there.
well, do we have policies as to which trucks go out?
I don't know whether to do or not. I mean, you know, we had the same equipment except the ladder truck, and we never carried no great big truck at something like that. You know, we carried
Do they not have the tool bed truck down there anymore, Chucky? The first response?
I have no idea, and I can't get back door anymore.
I would say that it's dependent upon each individual situation, who's available. You know, there's only certain personnel that can even, you know, certified to man that ladder truck. What the exact call came in about, so it would, you know, I would have to ask on an individual basis for each call why each piece of equipment went out. So I couldn't answer that question without talking to someone from the fire
If you
department.
Would you
would,
talk
when
to
you
me and
do-
get it back to the whole board
I will.
about it?
When you do talk to them, you ask them if all the extrication equipment's on that ladder truck and they take it off, put it on another truck? Because we don't know if you run that up and down the road. Because they took a whole highway up out here at school zone the other day. I think I've made enough noise for tonight. I'm gonna do a whole lot of soul searching. I wish y'all would too, because we know that the water rates is fixing to have to go up sooner or later, and the sewer rates is gonna have to go up. And we need to do a whole lot of soul searching on these older people that live here in town that their kids and grandkids are keeping them up now. We need to think about all this that we're doing up here till we find out where everything's gonna come from. Because I don't feel comfortable with it. You know, it's hard for me to tell, I ain't gonna call no names, several elderly people live right here in town. I know that their kids and grandkids are taking care of them. And we're gonna raise their rates up on stuff that they're gonna have to pay for. Their grandkids and the kids are gonna have to pay for it for them to survive here in this little bitty community town we have.
Well, haven't we already voted we raised them once, aren't we? And we already voted to raise them 2 more times?
Well,
Are we talking about on top of that?
I think the mayor's referring to on top of what we've done. We do have MTS that should be here next month to present to us on a rate study on all the things that we're kind of committed to doing right now, and then how that would affect our rates.
Well, can we ask them to include in that some, I know that in some areas they have raised to alleviate some of that for people who can't.
That's Roundup
I
program.
think that one thing that we can absolutely do is whatever we do, change the structure to where, say, it hits, you know, me and my family a little bit more than it would hit a single, you know, elderly person. And I think we would do that. We could do that by lowering the minimum and charging more per 1,000 gallons. And that way it'll hit more on the people that use more water rather than, you know, having that standard minimum. So I think there's ways to,
For some of the ways.
because there's really no way around us. I mean, we're either going to get them where they need to be, or the state's going to come in and tell us where they need to be. But I do think that we can change the structure to soften the blow on the people who don't use a lot of water, and then make it a little steeper on those of us with a big family, or a lot of the big users would be carrying the majority of the burden, which I think is fair.
He said there's ways to do with property tax, and that's something we could offset any water. If we can't do it with the water, is to do that with the property taxes.
Okay, that's for that.
Yeah.
Whatever to take the pressure off the families that are trying to help the mom and dads.
I'll have to look at the statute. I know, for example, in Nashville, you can get a lower rate for senior citizens.
Do we have any programs like that?
It's Franklin also.
Yeah, so
Franklin has it also.
I mean, I think that's a good idea anyway, because we know some people that,
Oh, I know, sir,
yeah.
here in town, that their families take care of now. I'm one of them.
I wish mine would.
One of the things that we talked to MTS about presenting is, you know, in the case where we take the minimum, I think it's at $16 right now, take it down to say $5, and then increase the per thousand rate, which, you know, if you only use a couple of thousand gallons, your bill may actually be a little lower than what it is currently. And like I say, it'll progressively hit the higher users, you know, which is the way it should be, I think, anyway.
Because in reality, it's usually a widow who is living alone
Right.
that it's going to hurt, because she's on a single income, and but she's not gonna wash much, and she's, you know, it's only one shower or bath per day, so. You
There's a
know,
lady
the
right there
clothes.
on Maple Street right now. Well, we used to call it Old Creamery Street, but it's Maple Street. It was right up there that their kids and grandkids pays their bills. She don't draw $500-something a month Social Security. That's a fact.
Yeah, I think there's definitely ways to structure it so that we don't hit those people
Right.
as hard.
Another thing, if you would, Mark, for me anyway, to talk to the Water and Sewer Board, to look at the sewer ordinance real hard, because I'm getting hit right where it hurts on this sewer ordinance that we have in place now, and I'm getting hit hard on it,
On the tanks.
on the tanks, what the people of Chapel Hill signed an agreement to that never did pan out that way. Years back, they went in here and we put city sewage in, everybody wanted it, we voted it in. Turned around, the sewer ordinance was not read by the city council sitting right here. Not in this room, but down yonder. It might have been up here, it was up here. Was never read. They sit there and pass that sewer ordinance. It is not a thing on there that we agreed to when they come around and ask us to vote on it.
Well, that's been a long time ago.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember who come to my door.
I know.
I do. I ain't calling no names,
It was
but I
in the
remember who it
90s. It
was.
was in the 90s.
Right.
Before I came around.
Well, yeah, it was in the 90s.
Right.
I remember that, because
Late 80s, early 90s, and we were told from your clean out to the road belonged to the city. And now these people here in town, they're older people, some of them are, some of them are businesses too. They're just having to replace pumps in their septic tank. That's not what they were told. And from clean out on, how many tanks have we done that people's had to replace through this town? Up here, a bunch.
so what you're saying is the people were told one thing and the
Right.
ordinance that passed.
Ordinance passed was not, they never, I don't believe, God bless their souls, they never did read it.
My whole neighborhood's got the plastic bubble tanks in it, not the concrete one.
I got it.
Did you have plastic tanks too there?
We do. We have the plastic.
A lot of times those plastic tanks are because of rock.
Okay.
Because of rock, you can't.
Because the rest of the neighborhood, as they're putting in all these new houses, they've all went with the big concrete
They got
ones.
to now.
Okay.
They got to now.
And
But
from a maintenance standpoint, from the town's perspective, there is a legitimate advantage to taking care of that extra step too, because one of our biggest issues is inflow and infiltration, you know, rainwater getting into the system. And if we're able to, by right, go onto people's property and fix things, a lot of times that's a lot easier for us to, you know, to get done, rather than if you have to keep asking somebody to fix something, because technically, you know, they don't have to.
Right.
So we still have, you know, a lot of the same problems.
we done I'm not cutting you off, we done the smoke test on the tanks and everything else. When we put smoke in the lines, you could see smoke coming up all up through town on parts of it. We put in one manhole, do smoke test, you can see it coming out of the ground up there, or coming out somebody's vent pipe going out top of the house. So you know there's a leak somewhere.
All I remember is when they used to come and bring us the things to flush down the lanes.
But we still
still
get up
get
here,
those.
we,
You have to come back together.
We don't deliver no more, they just bring it, you have to come back to get that. Yeah, anybody else got anything? How about them talking, I think?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion, any discussion on that?
Being ours tonight.
That's kind of behind roll in this.
I'm
I just
sorry.
want to know if
He got
discussion.
Thank you.
He got the
When you
monthly
when you come
reports
to
out
see me,
before
I got turnip rings
he
coming.
normally does.
You got turnip
So he caught me off guard.
Thank you.
you.
It's just the
Put
mayor
on my message.
Man,
moved
man.
our schedule up.
I got a patch about Lawrence from right here to there, about this wide. Anyway,
Anybody else need to?
And we got lettuce too. You really don't like lettuce. Like lettuce. I got lettuce.
like Fridays,
I like scalded lettuce. You call it fried, I call it
no,
scalded.
it's Friday.
Bacon grease.
Yeah. Scalded lettuce. And where were you?
I tried. Thank you.
I called tomato toast and it
I'm
was.
not that scared to
You
leave.
need to set a battery.
There was a discussion
My
about
grandmother called it tomato
Well,
toast. I can hear my
If I didn't have to lock the door every time, I guarantee you that's a problem.
I really wish we could.
Have more real discussions that I can stay in.
We decided
What I originally got for the trailer
I
hauling and
cannot
stuff,
believe.
when that's the original purchase.
Did you get that in? Good one, you think
But they don't actually have traffic.
Oh, is this,
It needs to have like
Yeah.
wipers, it has no AC.
Yeah, y'all went to town.
Guys that drive on narrow streets.
Cut that camera off.
Right. Not great.
I spotted it the other day when I
Cut the
was going
camera
back there to
off,
see y'all.
thank you.
And did John tell you about the recalls on the Explorer?
No.
There was a big lawsuit going on.
I'm not sure I know how.
They were getting carbon monoxide.
Mark, how you
We
heard?
already had those.
You already had, okay, all right. I just seen it,
On
then
the
I
backside,
sent
you
it
just
to
flip
me.
it, just flip it
They sent
in,
me the
Chad, just
replacement
cut it
part.
off.
Yeah.
Well, that's